Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're just going to do another velocity banking review. So, what is velocity banking? All it is a debt payoff strategy where you throw all of your money into debt with the help of something called a line of credit. Line of credit. And today is the 4th of July. The 4th of July. You ever watch that Tom Cruise movie, Born on the 4th of July? Man, that was like Tom Cruise's best acting ever. Like either that one or Top Gun Maverick. I think Top Gun Maverick is really fun to watch, but Born on the 4th of July is like Tom Cruise's best acting and it's so depressing. It's like one of the most saddest and depressing movies I've ever watched. Even sadder than Squid Game, you know? Squid Game is just mindless violence. But Born on the 4th of July with Tom Cruise will like make you question like does what your country stand for, is it even real? And it's like, it's too like, I would call it the red pill before the red pill. But anyways, in today's video, we're gonna make it a little bit more lighthearted and talk about possibly, I don't know, celebrating the independence of your nation by blowing a small part of it. That actually looks pretty cool. Let's yeah, let's play this clip before we start our velocity banking review.
How long does it take you to plan a site structure? The answer is too long.
I bet this place sells illegal fireworks. Just go in and act casual like you buy 'em all the time. Let me have one of those porno magazines. Large box of condoms, a bottle of Old Harper, a couple of those panty shields, and some illegal fireworks, and one of those disposable enemas. No, make it two.
My apologies, sir, but the sale of fireworks is prohibited in this state and is punishable by a... Follow me. Any red-blooded flag-feeding American would love the M320. Celebrate the independence of your nation by blowing up a small part of it.
All right.
Gee, I don't know what you've got planned for tonight, Homer, but count me out.
So yeah. What am I even laughing about? Anyways, I actually grew up in a neighborhood that banned fireworks. It's like we moved from a not so good neighborhood. I wouldn't say like the worst neighborhood. But like, on the hierarchy of things, the city wasn't that good to like a better city, more richer, more money. Um and then when we moved, we found out they banned fireworks. It's like bummer. So I never grew up with fireworks because I grew up in an upper middle class area that banned them. And I looked up the regulations back in my hometown, and they banned short term rentals apparently too. Yeah. Anyways, 4th of July, let's blow up not a piece of our country, but a piece of our debt. Yeah, let's do that and do another velocity banking review. So, what is velocity banking? All it is a debt payoff strategy where you throw all of your money into debt with the help of something called line of credit. And then if you take a look here, right? So we're gonna go big, right? We're gonna assume that we make that really, 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 really good income. 13,000 a month. Now I know for some of you this is like, what do you call it? A pipe dream? Do they call it a pipe dream because it's like you're high or something? Is that why they call it pipe dream? Why do they call it a pipe dream? Anyways, because for some people they see this and they see that 13 grand a month and they're like, I don't think that's even real, right? Right? Like, could it be real that you make 10, 20 grand a month? Okay. I don't know. But here's the truth about debt. Okay. And this is a debt payoff strategy. If you don't make money, nobody wants to lend to you. Right. So, what people have this idea in this mind that banks are there for people who need money, and that's actually not true. See, the way that the bank makes money is they look for the non-riskiest borrowers. And who are the non-riskiest borrowers? People who make a lot of money and people who have a lot of debt at the same time, right? And then what they do is they give you offers in the mail, say, "Hey, get this credit card," right? Ooh, like, and then kind of like a vampire, they start draining your blood, right? They start draining your blood with interest. And then you're going to get to a point where they've drained all of your blood and then you only have $56 in savings, and you're like, what? Well, I need some more, credit, or I need to be able to borrow more money. And because the banks they know because they report to their credit bureaus, like, hey, it seems like you have 10 credit cards, 2 car loans, 1 student loan, and a mortgage. Seems like you need we can't give you money because you need it. Okay, because you only have $56 left over. Just be aware of that. That's the problem we're trying to solve. And so what happens with a lot of people is they're trying to solve the level 1 problem, which is making the income, but level 2 is taking on debt to expand, let's say, your operation, right? And one of the biggest problems that people have is that they take on debt for things that don't generate them even $1, right? That don't even generate them $1. So if you take on debt that at least makes you some money, right, and then you pay it off quickly, then you'll increase your rate of return, right? Or your ROI, or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, all right, so let's go ahead and do the velocity banking part. So it's same income, same expenses, right? So it's the same here. And then here's what we do. We don't save money. This is scary to a lot of people, just not saving money. You know, 50, you ask the average person, hey, what's better, $56 or $0? They'll say 56 in your savings. And you take a look at this. I don't save money. I don't have money saved. What I need money saved for, right? Because I got something called a line of credit. So what's a line of credit? All it is a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay back, and then use it over and over again, right? Over and over again. So this $373,500 home equity line of credit, home equity. Okay. And it literally means I go to the bank's website, click a button, and they'll dump. Okay, they'll dump up to $373,000 and $373,500 in lines of credit. Yes, $373,500. Yep. 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 And how did I get this line of credit? Well, I'm going to tell you the secret that a lot of people don't want to understand. And by the way, if you don't know who I am, you're new to this channel. This is my mortgage I paid off in 2 years and 9 months. And then if we scroll down here, this is me as the goat of velocity banking, cartoon picture, realistic picture, greatest of all time. Oh, here's a property I bought for $100,000 discount. And then here's Velocity Banking Kool-Aid, Velocity Banking Crack. I probably need some more pictures. And then here's a rental check. And then here's some Airbnb money. Airbnb expecting $5,400. And they didn't even include the did I have Verbo in that month? No, I don't have Verbo. But $5,400 in July on Airbnb. I'm like, whoa. Okay. All right. So yeah. So the secret to getting lines of credit is that banks don't lend money to people who need it. And so if you're a person who needs money, okay, if you are a person who needs money, the bank is like, And I say this as a person who has over $731,000 in lines of credit. It's so weird saying that number. Oh, it's just 731,000. 731,000, right? Now, there are some people, a good amount of population that has probably more than me, but I have 731,000, right? So it's just an arbitrary number. But the way that I got all these lines of credit, including personal credit cards, business credit cards, personal lines of credit, and here's my new $20,000 personal line of credit that I got 2 days ago, 20,000. I went to the bank and I said, I don't need money. And they said, here you go. Okay. And I just do it over and over again. Right. That's how you get lines of credit. See, everyone's like, how do you get a line of credit? How do you get a line of credit? Know the secret, internalize it, study. Right. That's why I resell educational courses. Click the Google form link below. Nobody wants to study, right? Because they're all too lazy. Most of them, except for the people who enrolled. I love you all, but not the people who didn't enroll, who said that they were going to pay me and they didn't, right? They might, then I'll love you, but that's conditional love. So I might be a bad person. Anyways, all right. So $20,000 personal line of credit is the newest one I got yesterday. And so let's go ahead and assume that we have a giant line of credit, free and clear, and we're going to increase this thing called cash flow. So in the beginning, the savings and the cash flow number look the same. But once we start to do the magic with the line of credit, it doesn't necessarily look the same. We're going to assume that we have a $250,000, 2.5 million for a $50,000 line of credit. And what we're going to do is we're going to move our credit cards first. And I forgot how much credit card debt this is, 12, 18. And then I'm going to sum it up. $167,000 of credit card debt. So a lot of people will be freaking out. Oh my goodness, you have $56 left over. You need to get another job and you need to deliver some pizzas like Dave Ramsey. I love Dave too. I don't really like, there are people who like really like hate Dave. I'm not like a Dave hater because most of the people need to listen to his advice because most people make stupid decisions like student loans, right? Anyways, was that 167,000? Let me go back here. Yeah, that was 167,000. All right. So now let me just do this. And then undo 167000. Okay. So let's assume that we did a balance transfer essentially of our debt from the credit cards to the line of credit. Guess what happens to this? Listen, I didn't make more money, right? You notice how I didn't make more money, but I just did not save it. And then all I did was do 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. All the payments go away. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Look at that. How do we go from same income, $56 to $5,401.85. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. I can't believe this is the clickbait part. This is the part where you really truly are like, what the F, right? If you've seen this for the first time. How many of you were like that where you're like, what the F? Like, how did this go from $56 to 4,501.85 just by moving some debt into a line of credit? Now, obviously, there's a debt payoff order, right? Easiest way to figure that out is using something called the cash flow index. Basically, you get the balance divided by the monthly payment. It gives you a ranking system. And by default, like the high interest rate credit cards are going to have the lowest rank. So you just move them there. Bam, $5,401.85. Okay. Now you might say, well, the debt's not gone away. It hasn't. That's right. Because we're going to do the final step, which is putting our entire paycheck into that line of credit and then taking our expenses out and then rinse and repeating over and over again. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. So now what we're going to do is take the previous month's balance, previous month's interest minus 5401.85. And then what we're going to do is take the average daily balance, right, and multiply it by the interest rate. In this case, will be 0.085%, and then divide by 12. I've had home equity lines of credit as low as 7.5 and as high as around 9, 10, right? So, all right. So now let's do paycheck in, expenses out, paycheck in, expenses out. So you notice this cash flow number is what's the amount that the debt gets reduced by. And yes, we do have to pay the interest. We're accounting for it. And then let's go ahead and see how long it takes to pay off that debt. Ooh, 35 months. 35 months. Okay. Sweet. 35 months and then $167,000 of credit card debt. Now, understand that it took us 3 years to pay off the debt, but we were like grasping for air. $56. I was like, OMG, what am I gonna do, right? So let's go ahead and do this right here, figure out what's going on with our other loans, and then we take a look here, right? So it'll be 35. Hold on. So 35 so this is a loan calculator that tells you the current balance. And then what we do is we use something called the cash flow index to determine the rank of which debt to pay off. So because these are in the low 20s, we're going to pay this off. And all this means is that if we pay it off, we get more bang for our buck. Meaning that, for example, I pay $400,000 and I only get $2,000 a month. Versus I get paid $93,000, I get $1,300 a month, right? So you kind of think about the payment to balance ratio, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take these two cars, pay them off, and let's see how long it takes to pay these off. Control V, yada yada yada. So this is going to be plus 20936.99. I think we got to round up. All right, so now we got these two, which go to 0, 0. And then we got $6,000 in cash flow. Whoa! How did that happen? Oh my goodness. All right. and then this is gonna be 6283, right? Oh, whoa, oh, look at that. And then this is gonna be 39 months. And so now, 39 months. How much was that? That's 167 plus 17 plus 30, right? We got a new, I mean, we got a used car somewhere there, but it's okay. Maybe we should just buy new, just so that we're not paranoid that it hasn't been maintained properly. So anyways, so the next one is that student loan. So let's go ahead and pay this sucker off in 39 months. So 0, 39, 39. Let's move this into the line of credit. And just do this right here. And yeah, plus 89, 737.03. And then, right? And then this is 0. And then this is 7 grand. 7 grand. All right, let's go ahead and do this. And then I'm just going to do this. And then this is going to be 7676.3. And then, all right. All right, so let's go ahead and do this right here. And then this is going to be 51 months here, 51 months, and student loan gone. Student loan gone. You know what's funny? Like, I don't really think it's that bad of idea to go to like law school or what's it called? Uh Medical school. But the only issue is that if you become a lawyer or a doctor, yeah, you'll make good money, but you're gonna be someone else's bitch. You know what I mean? Like doctors don't have power. You gotta like be like the hospital CEO or one of those like board members, right? But then the problem there is that you might be targeted by the Luigi fella, even though that's only happened once. You know what I mean? So that's why like you got to be like the CEO from the get go, right? Like instead of making like 100, 200, make like 100, 1 million, 2 million. I'll be there someday, and then once I get there, I'll be like, that was it. You know what I mean? People hype these things up and act like it's like the most important thing. And I say this as a person who paid off my mortgage in 2 years and 9 months. I mean, once that mortgage is paid off, it literally is just like one less debt, and your life doesn't really change. Yeah, I know. You probably don't want to hear that, right? Because you're probably stressed out about, all the debt that you have and thinking of joining the American version of Squid Game. By the way, spoiler alert for Squid Game season 3. Last season episode was a spoiler with Kate. I'm sorry. Was a teaser for the new American version of Squid Game with Australian Kate Blanchett. Is that how you say her name? I don't even know how to say her name. But yes, all right. So let's go ahead and do the mortgage at 51 months. 51. All right. So now we have $435,000 of debt. Now, why can we not let this go to full term? Because we've already paid $58,000 of interest. And if we go to full term, we'll pay $248,000 of interest. That's a no bueno. All right. So let's go ahead and attack this. Now, you have two ways of attacking this. Okay. Put the entire 7,000 directly into the loan, which you can, no problem with that, right? This is the very last loan you want to pay off, okay? Or you just use a line of credit to pay it off in pieces. But most important thing is that you don't move the whole thing into a line of credit, especially you got a 3 and you got an 8 or 10 line of credit. You don't want to move the whole thing. Now, why is that? It's because you pay off this huge amount at a low interest rate for itty bitty cash flow, right? Because the loan is determined by three things. The term of the payment is by the balance, the original balance, interest rate, and term, right? So the longer you stretch the term, the lower the payment, but the more the money that the bank makes. A lot of people don't understand that, and they still don't really understand that after I tell them. Okay, but you got to trust me. Wink, wink, and then join my cult. All right, so let's pull out the velocity banking calculator. Okay, so this is a velocity banking calculator from Renatus, which is where I originally learned velocity banking from. So let me go ahead and just put in the information right here. So what is the expenses that we have here? 3,500. Oh, that's pretty good. Maybe we bought a new Nintendo Switch and I don't know, 10 games for it. I was thinking about it, like there's some days where I'm so exhausted and I'm like, oh, I'm just like so tired. I can't even get up. But then, like, I'm looking at Target's website and I see Nintendo Switch available at like your local Target 30 minutes away, or the Nintendo Switch 2. I was like, I'm so exhausted. I can't even. It's almost like drunk driving. You know, you feel like you ever been in a situation where you're like, you're awake, but you're just very tired, and then if you get in the car, you'll probably be like, groggy. I kind of feel like that sometimes, even though I don't drink. Anyways, all right, so let's go ahead and do this, and it's gonna be 13,200. All right, and then this is gonna we'll say $14,000 chunk, and then 8.5%. What's the payment amount? It is every 2023.7, so 2023.7. The original balance is 480, yeah, 480, and then the current balance is 435,255.29. 435,255.29. Blam! 4 years, 4 year payoff. Okay, 29 grand, 4 years. So we got to pay an additional 29 on top of I think the 58, but it's all right. And in 4 years, we're gone. We're good. We're good. So 51 divided 12 plus 4, which is 8.25 years, and then now we are debt free. Bam. Right? So now we can save money. And then once we save lots of money, we'll have rich people problems. All right. Well, that's it for today, folks. This is Korean Lanta Mentorship. So celebrate the birth of the independence of your nation by blowing up a piece of your debt, right? So if you've made it to this far and you're waiting for the secret code, it's like, hey, Cam, some of you call him Cam, what's that secret code? So I want to let you know that I've been a faithful, good velocity banking steward. Um, the code, so type this in the comment box below. It's I'm gonna blow up my debt. Okay. I'm gonna celebrate the 4th of July by blowing up my debt. Okay. All right. Type that in the YouTube comment box. That's it for today, folks. This is Cranial Anti Mentorship. Have a great day. Have a happy 4th of July.